Okay, for Mr. Jeffy, on the little tag video, it is your favorite go-to knife, your favorite EDC knife. But there's two not categories, but like names for it. There is the go-to knife and there's the EDC knife, which are two different things. And it depends what I would go to it for, what I would be doing with it. If I was just gonna grab a knife, I would really have to think, what am I gonna do that day? What am I gonna use it for? Or if I'm gonna use it at all. So it all depends on what it is. So I'm just gonna go through a whole bunch of scenarios and what knife I'd grab if I had to use it, or not had to use it, or if I had to grab one. So let's say I hear a noise downstairs in my house, right? It's probably not gonna happen ever. I'd probably either go for one of my stilettos or my sword. That's not really a knife, but still. If I had to use a knife, I'd probably grab my hunting knife, which is a fixed blade, because you don't want to fight with a folder no matter what. And like Jeff, my little specialty is the folding knife, so I have a bunch of those. Not a bunch, it's a bunch to me. To Jeff, it's like a child's collection. But my favorite EDC knife that I would take around everywhere, that I just grab whenever I'm going somewhere, is... Ready? You ready? I don't think you're ready. You ready? Yeah. It's the Benchmade Barrage. It's pretty much a bigger Griptilian and its assistant, which I like more. When I was getting it, I was at some sports store, I don't remember the name of it. It was one of the big ones. But they had a couple of Benchmade knives in there. And there was a Griptilian there, and I opened it, but it wasn't assisted. I was like, eh. And you've seen Jeff open it. He uses the lock, he pulls it and just opens it. It doesn't work with this. So I thought I had to get one or the other. And I thought, I like assisted knives. If I was going to get really specific about my little specialty, it'd be assisted folding knives. That's what I like. That's what I choose to get. I don't like automatics because they always seem way too flimsy to me. And I don't like the idea of a button. I never like the idea of a button. Also, it's illegal where I am. But my favorite kind of knife overall would be an assisted stiletto that's like really long, like one of those giant ones, like a 13-inch overall stilettos. But that can't use as an EDC knife because it doesn't have as many uses as this. Before, I would have like just a normal little assisted knife like the SOG Flash 2. I'd have a SOG Flash 2 or a Buck TSRT or something like that, a really big one. And I'd have a stiletto with me. One for defense, one for utility. And I've never seen one that could do both. And I found this one, and it kind of has the best of both parts. It's a nice skinny blade, but it can be used for utility also. Not to mention it's freaking sharp. Also, I've been playing with this lock a lot, and I really like it. I really like that. Not that I have to use two hands to close it, but I like this way more. I don't like frame locks. I hate them. I can't stand them because it makes the knife feel really thin to me. I don't like them. I never will. I don't know why. I just don't. And I don't like liner locks too because you can feel when they start to give away, and it's just like, I don't like them that much. That's why when I first got this and I was playing with the locking mechanism, I really liked it because it's always going to be like that. I hope so. It's always going to be like that, and it minimizes blade play and issues with the knife. Also, it's the only knife that I have that has a safety on it besides the SOG Flash 2. All the other knives I have, they just open and close. So, it kind of has all that together. Not to mention, I can use this as much as I want as long as I strop it and sharpen it. And if I don't, I can just send it to Benchmade and have it sharpened for me. But let's say I'm going hunting or whatever. I don't hunt. Let's say I'm gonna go hiking in the hills behind my house that are over there. I wouldn't take this. I wouldn't take a folding knife with me. I just wouldn't want to get dirty or anything. I would grab my SOG Jungle Primitive knife that I have. That would be the go-to one if I'm going hiking. My cat. That would be what I'd use the most. Also, if I'm going to like a situation where I think I might need a knife for self-defense, like if I'm going to some ghetto place or I'm scared, if I'm a pansy about it, I would grab one of the stilettos, or I would grab a knife that doesn't look like it's dangerous, or a knife that doesn't look intimidating. Like if that's a black blade or a black handle, I probably wouldn't take. I'd probably take the brightest, most safe and unintimidating knife I could possibly find. But every day, just normal, it'd probably be this. It's like a griptilian, except it's kind of not. It's a little bit bigger, which I like. Because I have big hands and it fits my hands really well. The griptilian was a little bit small in my hands. I didn't really like that. I don't like the idea of small knives because it's just eh. Also, I really like, for a folding knife, it's not perfectly symmetrical like I would prefer, like a stiletto, but it's pretty freaking close to it. And it's really versatile. I could use this for almost anything. The blade's skinny enough that I could use it for like little tiny work in this small place, or I could use it as self-defense weapon because it can be that big too. These serrations. I don't know how I feel about serrations. I haven't used a particular knife long enough where the serrations aren't usable anymore. They had to have them sharpened again. Half the time I don't even use the serrations unless I really need to. I usually save them for a really bad situation. Like one time I was playing with a zip tie and I got it caught on my finger, and it got pulled really hard and it was cutting out the circulation to my finger. And I couldn't get it off no matter how hard I pulled. So to get it off, I used it. It wasn't on this one. It was with the SOG Flesh 2. I never use the serrations. I always keep them for emergency. And I just pretty much, I didn't even have to. I never touched them ever since I got the knife. So all I had to do was pretty much touch and then just push against my hand, and the thing popped off. Which is what I really like about them, because I don't know, I feel like serrations should be a backup tool for your knife. You should use a plain edge as much as possible. You use the serration when you really need to, or if you're using something that's really fibrous like cardboard. So yeah, that's my go-to EDC knife. Let's see, what other situation? Ooh, when I went to work, when I worked at a warehouse, before I got in trouble for having knives, even though I was told I was allowed to, the knives that I carried a stiletto, and I carried the Buck T-Star something. I don't know, you probably know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen it before. I carried those two because they both had exactly what I needed. It was before I got that Benchmade knife though. If I was going to now, I would probably take the Benchmade knife because it has both parts with it. But yeah, so overall, self-defense, not a folder, never a folder. Get a fixed blade. For work, the Benchmade. Everyday carry, the Benchmade. For if I'm going somewhere where I think I might need a knife to defend myself, I would take a stiletto. Just because. Either take a stiletto or take a knife that doesn't look like a weapon. It looks like a tool. Yeah, that's what I do. Before you freak out, this isn't real. It's an airsoft gun. So yeah, I'm not pointing a real gun in my face. So yeah, that's it.